Hey all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're focused on Microsoft Forms and I'm going to be taking you through how to create a brand new Microsoft form, that being a questionnaire or a survey, and use brand new capabilities in Microsoft Forms using AI to make that even easier for you. So whether you've created a bunch of forms in the past and need a refresher, or you haven't done that before, something in this video is going to be for you all. Now, we'd love it if this video helps you to also hit that like button and follow our channel to find more great content every single week and save you a whole heap of time when it comes to using tools just like Microsoft Forms. So let's head into that tutorial and get you using forms in a great new way. So welcome to Microsoft Forms, and if you're landing on this dashboard, you've probably got there via the web link, which is very simple, forms.office.com. And once you're actually inside of this dashboard, we're going to break it down for you in very simple terms. Firstly, you can select New Form, New Quiz or Quick Import to go ahead and create your blank form to begin creating that all-important quiz or survey or questionnaire. Now in this tutorial, we're only focused on the actual surveys or questionnaires. Another video we'll have very soon will focus on quizzes. Also, Forms has a number of templates you can use, and you may be thinking that's not going to add much value to you, but I'd probably say that's wrong because templates is a very good feature. In fact, let's click on View All to explore these templates in Microsoft Forms. The first thing you'll see at the top of the screen are trending templates. So for an example, employee satisfaction survey, 32% of people are using that template. Office facility request forms, 26%. And what happens then if I want to use one of these templates? Well, all you need to do is click into it. If I click on the office facility request form, it'll fire up a brand new survey here, pre-completed from the template that I can begin using immediately. Not only do I get a design theme, I even get all of the questions as part of that template. So saving you a whole heap of time when it comes to creating this survey for office facility requests, just use a template and all the work is done for you. But I appreciate that not everything is done by templates. So let's head back into Forms and let's consider how we can create one of our forms. And once we do create it, you'll also then see it at the bottom of the screen here. Here are all of my recent forms I've worked with. Here are my forms I've been creating, filled forms, and so forth. So that part of the dashboard provides insights into forms you're already working in. But let's go ahead and select New Form for the top of the screen and get cracking with a brand new survey. Now my survey I'd like to create here is not from a template. It's actually to do with customer satisfaction. And we have 5 questions we want to insert. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is give this form a title and also a description by clicking into these fields here, allowing me to simply add that in. And once that's done, you can also consider your styling. So styling is in the top right of the screen and you can select style and use one of an AI themes. Now the AI themes as an example here, I could select on this theme where people are effectively talking in a meeting. I could go with a number of coloured circles and I could add that into the customer satisfaction survey with the speech bubbles, or I could click on View All and I could have some additional graphics being used inside of our survey. These styles make your form even better in terms of visual without putting any additional work into it. And if you really wanted to, you could either go to the bottom and turn on background music and select some background that people can have while they're filling in your survey. I can't say I've ever used that feature personally because you can't use custom music and you're kind of stuck with what I would call it lift or elevator music while you're filling in a survey, which is already pretty tedious, is making it even more tedious. So I'm not going to be selecting any background music when it comes to filling in our surveys or questionnaires, but I am going to go with this colourful theme. Now I have my style applied, we now have to begin creating our questions. And as you can see here, we even have AI inside of Microsoft Forms recommend certain questions to us based upon the title of your actual survey or questionnaire. Now this list here, whilst it looks like a single question, is actually multiple different question types that you can insert into your survey. So as an example, if I were to bring in please rate your overall experience with us, I can left click, select add selected, and there we have it. Please rate your overall experience with us with a 5-star ranking. So pretty easy to use the AI recommendations when it comes to building your actual questionnaire or survey. But I don't want to go with any of those. So how do we get rid of this question I've inserted? Well, I can actually left click into it and click on the trash can, and I can delete that question from our survey. Don't adjust your YouTube sets. I'm just here quickly to tell you about something you're probably missing out on. Now, we send out video tips and tricks on how to get the most from Microsoft 365 every single week. And we call this email that we send out the Motivational Monday, because we always need that kickstart right on a Monday. And so if you're missing all of our great content and want it delivered straight into your inbox every single Monday, all you need to do is head to the link below, get signed up, and we'll do the rest. And we look forward to having you part of our great community where you can find all of this great content to be more productive every single day. Other than that, let's dive back in. Allow me now to define the right questions I want to have inside of our survey. I already have 5 questions. I've already actually created them, ready to be inserted into our form. So let's go ahead and begin creating them out. Now the first thing I want to capture is somebody's name. I would like to know who's filling in this survey. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the text here to open a text-based question. The question, nice and simple. What is your name? They can then provide an answer. But I want that to be required because otherwise, how am I ever going to know the name of the person responding? So I can select required. And if their name was very long, I could have a long answer. I don't expect that, so I'll leave that unchecked. And in addition, I click the 3-dot menu and add a subtitle, and I could input, please input your first and last name, ensuring I don't just get replies that say Scott, and I actually don't know the person's surname. So with that in here, we have our first question. Congratulations, you've made your first survey, right? But we need a little bit more than that to go further inside of our survey. The next question I have is, what did you like about our service? So how are you satisfied as such? Now that is a 1 to 5 ranking. So I'm going to now go in this drop down and I'm going to select a ranking scale. So here I could put the question and now I could put the different answers. So I could put option 1, which is very satisfied, and so forth. But there are different question types that this may be better suited to. So I'm going to delete the question and instead I'm going to go down and I'm going to select a Likert scale. So I can actually go further with this and I could define as satisfied. But you can also see that Microsoft AI has automatically come up with some of those answers to how satisfied they are with our service. So I can add all and we can see those different statements and how satisfied someone is. So you can actually change that. So maybe the satisfaction with the service actually goes beyond just that simple question. For example, when you came into our store, what was the approach like from your customer representative? So here I could put customer rep. The next I could is product selection and so forth. So I can actually bring in as a simple question a Likert scale and be able to expand on that. I can once again go into the question and mark it as required to ensure we collect that information. So now we have 2 questions on our survey. So the next we can have a look at is an open-ended question. So what areas do you think we could improve? So here I can now go down and select a text. I could put in the question, and I don't expect here that I should have a very short answer. I need a long answer. So I'm going to add a long answer into here, and I'm going to make sure it's required. So we're going to collect what people think we could improve. Now the next is, would you recommend our services to others? So what could we do there? That's a yes or no, right? So on the drop down here, we're going to go ahead and select a choice. So I'm going to put choice, and I'm going to put a very simple yes, no, maybe, which Microsoft AI had already judged as the best answers to use. So we once again have now our 4th question. But our fifth one is, can we contact them about this response? So I'm going to go ahead and once again add a choice here. So I'm going to hit on the choice button. Here we'll simply put yes and no in our options and we'll make it required. But we need something here branched, because if they say yes, I have no means to contact this individual. If they say no, I don't have to contact the individual, right? So let's consider, how can I have another question that's only shown once this answer is marked as yes? So to achieve that, I'm going to add a text question, which is question 6, and that is, what is your email address? Now, I only want to collect this when someone can be contacted. Otherwise, GDPR and the like, or data privacy rules, we may not want to do that. So in this scenario, I can now go back up to question 5, and I can actually click on the three dot menu and add what we call branching logic. By adding a branch, we can actually define that when we contact you about this response yes, please go to question number 6. And if they say no, well, go to the end of the form. I don't want to collect their email address. A simple branching logic that you can use throughout forms to create a very customized form experience. Click on back and our branching has now been applied. So we have that available to us. And there we have it. We have 6 questions, 5 of which are displayed actually to the end user, the 6 only being displayed if someone marks they can be contacted about those responses. So what do we do now? We've got our 6 questions and I would like to see this actual survey in use, make sure it makes sense to me. Well, I can click on the preview button inside of Microsoft Forms and I can see how it's going to be displayed when someone goes and accesses this link later and gets it filled in. I can even select mobile at the top and have a look how it looks on a mobile phone. But let's go back to computer and select start now. And I can now begin adding information. So, what is your name? Joe Blogs. And how satisfied are you with our service? Well, happy with the customer, but I'm not so happy with the product selection. So how could we improve? Well, more products would be something I'd like you to actually do. Would you recommend our service to others? Maybe. And can we contact you about this response? If I put no, you'll see there is no additional question in here collecting an email address. Marking it as yes, we now see a required field asking for their email address. So I could put joeblogs@hotmail.com, go ahead and then click on submit. We can now see that's now been submitted in our preview window. Nice and straightforward to use. If we click back, we can then also consider how we can do certain things in this form. Yes, we've created an amazing form here, but there are other settings for us to choose from. In fact, go on the three dot menu to the right and then select settings. And in here, we can now define who's filling in our survey or questionnaire. For example, can anyone respond in the world? That means that the person filling in does not need a Microsoft 365 account. Anyone can respond who has a web link that you're going to provide them with. Only people in my organization can respond will ensure that people have to sign in a Microsoft 365 account from your company to access this form. If they don't, they can't fill in the form. The good news is though, when you choose that, you can actually enforce that there's only one response per person, because when we do it to anyone, we can't enforce that because we actually truly don't know who's going to fill in that form. Equally, you can even collect the person's name. Yes, I have a field saying what is your name, but if I actually had this option, I wouldn't need to know the person's name. I'm going to collect it from their login details automatically. But again, you can use that where you see fit. The third option is where I can actually specific people can respond. So I can actually send a link out and I can specify who's going to fill this in. In most cases though, if you're collecting your data from outside the organization, you will select anyone. If it's internal, only people in my organization. But I'm going to select anyone in this actual survey because I want to test how it works via a web link. Down the bottom here, we can also set to accept responses. If we don't have that, it means effectively recipients can't fill it out and this survey is actually closed for any further responses. I can even set a start and end date, so that's automatically set and closes down the ability to actually respond. Set a time duration, which will actually apply inside of it, because if they're taking too long, the answers will be auto-submitted when that timer is up. Very useful for quizzes, but I'm not so sure for a survey. We can shuffle the questions to give it a little bit more of a personalised or different feel. We can also hide, submit another response. We may not want people to submit another response, so we can hide that message right at the end. And we can customise a thank you message actually with a little bit more detail. So your response was submitted is great, but it's super generic. So I'm going to put your response was submitted and thank you for your feedback. Nice and easy to do. You also have a brand new option that's coming to Forms where it allows people to save their responses, to edit their responses later. Now that is up to you as a form owner to decide if you want to do that. Personally, for surveys, I won't let them edit their responses or save them because I want to use it for customer feedback. But equally, you may want to allow that for other types of survey that you're running. Also, a question that we get asked quite regularly is, can we have a receipt of an email once this actual form or survey has been saved? The answer is yes, check this box. And a question we're asked also regularly is, can we have an email notification sent when someone fills in this actual survey? Yes, just check this box and you'll be able to do exactly that. Now you'll notice there's no save button in the save dialog. Now you'll notice there's no save button in the settings dialog because those settings are automatically saved as the settings on this form. We have to also begin collecting responses. So how do we do that in Forms? Well, select collect responses and there we go. The same options I actually saw in the settings are also shown here for you to define. You also have the link that you can send someone via a web link or a web page. They get straight back to your actual form or survey. We can also share it inside of Teams or Outlook as a message, and we can embed this in a single email or message to give it a nice look and feel. We can even add the people to send it to internally, or we can have a QR code that you can use so you can actually share that in a more digital way. And likewise, when I copy and paste it onto a website, well, here's the code to use to do that. But if I actually copy this link and I open it in an incognito or private browsing tab inside of a web browser here, you may remember that this link is going to work for us because it's effectively available externally. I can click on Start Now and once again fill it out. And once I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit, and that will now submit it into Forms once again. Now at this point, what I can do is close this tab down and I can go back into my form as the form owner. And on the right hand side, you'll see that automatically the responses is immediately available to me. It provides both the preview response I tested with and the response I just completed a moment ago. So we can see the person's name that's been responding to this actual survey. We also get an immediate view of graphs and pie charts based on your responses. There's no need to bring this into Power BI or additional charts needed. You get that straight out the box, so nice and straightforward. You can also click and open in Excel and you can have a view of this data inside of Excel. That downloads it to your local computer. You can open it in your desktop app and then you can also do additional pivot tables and so forth on this data. It even includes things like the start time, completion time, email address if it's been actually completed internally, and if it's externally, we of course won't see that. And also a brand new option in Forms is to click on the Present button, allowing you to actually show the different actual information coming back in. So you might want to present this in a meeting and click for you to understand the feedback in a live meeting. The QR code is shown for people to fill in the survey, and you can actually see all of that data inside of here as you click through live in your actual session. So useful to use, could go badly of course depending on your question, but you can also use that if you want to present your screen and use this as live feedback in a session by clicking on that present button inside of Forms, or brand new capability inside of Microsoft Forms. But that's not all Forms can do. You probably have forms that you'd like to import, and what I would also like to show you is you can do that now using a new feature inside of Forms. At the top of your Forms dashboard, you can actually go ahead and select Quick Import, and you can browse to a file on your PC. Now you'll see it has to be a Word or a PDF file. The file limit is 10 megabytes, and there's a whole website around import guidance. Why? Because this is a little bit flaky. It works well sometimes and it doesn't in other times. If you're running a form or a survey with high levels of customization, themes and different styling, this is going to struggle to import it for you. However, I've created something pretty basic. Inside of Word, here is my survey, the customer satisfaction survey with some additional questions I'd like to capture. So I'm going to go back into Forms using this Word experience here and upload it from my local computer. Once I've found the file, I can then click on Open, and now I can define is this a form or a quiz. Well, it's a form, effectively it's a survey or questionnaire, and it will now begin the conversion process. It's effectively taking the data outside of this document, and I can now begin a review of that import. And here we go. That's exactly what's came out of this import process. I have not massaged what's come out the other side. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky. You can actually see that it's done an okay job. We have our title, we have our description, but question 1 is a question, but the rest of it are not questions. They're choice fields. I'd have to update those choices. Here, multiple choice. That doesn't look very good there. And open-ended have come through, but yes, no, haven't. So this is what I generally find on the import process. It's a good way of getting your text in. Does it always work? No, but I think you will save a little bit of time when it comes to creating that survey. You can simply use the data it imports and then structure it in a better way. But a great way to save a little bit more time when it comes to using Forms. And there we have it. That is your tutorial on how to get the most from Microsoft Forms for surveys and questionnaires, allowing you to either create something brand new using a Microsoft Form template and take all the hard work away, or for you to go in and create your own custom survey or questionnaire that you can share with your peers or wider customers, or how you can import it to have some of that work done for you. But we also looked at all those great AI features allowing custom generation of those actual questions and styling themes and so much more to give you the best capability in Microsoft Forms. And of course, if you like this video, we'd love it if you hit that like button, and not only that, follow and subscribe to our channel to find more great content like this, and we'll be able to save you even more time every single day to do the things that matter most. Otherwise, we'll be seeing you on the next one.